Welcome everybody to the Under Controller's newest series where Jake hasn't watched a Marvel movie ever. And we're going to change that. We started with Captain America, the first Avenger. This movie released in 2011. It was not the first one released, but we are watching them in chronological order. And that makes Captain America, the first Avenger, which took place during World War II, the first one. So, I'm going to turn it over to Jake in the hot seat right now. Just give us like a recap of the movie, like your perspective.
First, tell us what you thought it was going
give
to
us
be.
your...
What did I think it was going to be?
Your
What did
expectations
you think was
for the
going to happen?
movie.
What were your expectations?
Okay, I knew that it took place in World War II, so I knew that much, that I figured it would just be him fighting Nazis pretty much, and I don't know, there's a lot of that lore that, Nazis were trying to unlock. Like, there's supposedly, like, in real history that they were digging in Antarctica looking for weird stuff. It's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, they're all about occult stuff.
Yeah, they're really about... So I thought maybe they were trying to unearth something crazy, throw in some Assassin's Creed, Templar stuff like that, and that's basically what they're trying to do, and Captain America goes in and stops them. Isn't super far from the plot, but that's kind of what I was thinking. Just him fighting Nazis World War II, pretty much, is what I expected.
So then, like, your recap of the movie, what would you say?
Okay, so what happens? There's this guy by the name of Steve Rogers. He's built much like me in high school, very scrawny, short, and thin. Wants to join the military, wants to go fight for his country. Unfortunately, he is not able to because at that time, the standards to get in the military were extremely high. They didn't just take everybody, like our football team at the school that we went to. It's like, you want to play football? All right, cool, come on. So he's trying to join the military. He's not able to. He gets pulled into the secret project that's supposed to be for super soldiers, or developing super soldiers. Well, they do an experiment, and it works, and he becomes much taller, more muscular, faster, all more sportsman-like, pretty much. All right, so then he goes on and becomes this, basically, circus monkey is what he... There's our clickbait again. He becomes a circus monkey is what he calls himself, pretty much. If he's forced to be put on shows and dance and sing around for everybody, well, then he ends up in the actual battle. And that's whenever he goes forward and helps save 400 people that had been taken capture by Hydra at this point, who has been looking for something to power doomsday weapons, basically, that is headed by Schmidt, I think is his name, but it's Red Skull. So after that,
I think Schmidt is the... No, it's Johann. Yeah,
Johann Schmidt, right?
Red Skull.
Yeah.
What's the other dude's name?
Armin Zola.
Yeah.
I was about to say Zola, the doctor. Yeah. So
They only say like Armin once.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's Armin Zola.
So then they go through, and he saves those people, and he finds a map where other Hydra Nazis, yeah. Hydra bases are, and they go through with his team, and they take those down, and eventually ends up with him fighting Red Skull on the plane, crashes it into an iceberg, basically, or it freezes, turning into a very, very sad moment of him and Agent Carter were supposed to have a date, and never happens.
Ironically, in the comic books, Peggy Carter, he doesn't end up dating her or getting with her niece like it is in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually just her little sister.
Movie. That's a different
Well, it's still canonically part of the first Captain America volume. And also, Captain America, the super serum formula that they used to make Captain America into the super soldier is also the exact same formula that was tried to be remanufactured that turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was about to say, because also it's the original serum was what turned Red Skull into Red Skull.
Mm-hmm.
And okay. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this, is that Tony Stark's dad made the shield. I thought that was pretty cool. That Howard Stark is all throughout the whole movie. I thought that was really interesting.
Oh, also, you remember all the guys on the beginning that are in like his little group, little platoon?
Yes.
In the first Captain America, those are actually superheroes. They're not just random soldiers.
Really?
Like, it's Bucky Barnes, it's a guy named Thor, I believe. There's Human Torch. There's a couple more people, too. Namor, the Submariner. Just basically Marvel Aquaman.
Okay,
He's
gotcha.
Marvel Aquaman.
Marvel's Aquaman.
Yeah.
Does he get the same treatment? Kind of, D tier superhero.
Pretty much.
He has never showed up.
Namor and Black Panther fight a
Not
lot
yet.
Okay.
in the comic books. And also, whenever Captain America gets blown out of the air in his plane and lands on the ice,
Right.
well, he originally doesn't just land in the middle of the oceans in the comic book. He lands inside of a river or like a lake or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it freezes him like that. And then Namor throws the ice cube into the middle of the ocean
Mm-hmm.
for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember exactly why.
He just being one of them dudes.
He
Just prank you.
Namor, iconically, not a good guy.
All right, Sam. So,
All right.
you got that part of my recap of it.
Yeah, so that was your recap. So my next question is like, was there a part that you liked, or like a part that stood out to you? Like
Okay.
your favorite part.
My absolute favorite part, legitimately, is probably where he frees the 400 soldiers, but specifically where his first encounter with the Red Skull. That was a really good scene to me. Very much played up, and he's kind of his whole life. He's kind of that guy that has been put down his whole life and has been told he's not able to do things or he can't do things. Well, and also the whole deal with basic training. Whenever he's in basic training, and they say, hey, whoever can get the flag can get a ride back with Agent Carter, and he just walks over and pulls the pin out, and it just falls over and he pulls the flag off. It's like, okay, that shows a lot of ingenuity and a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And also the fact that he jumps on the grenade to protect his fellow soldiers. That stood out to me. And here he is now going into this enemy camp after being told, hey, your friend's probably dead. All those guys aren't coming back. You can't go and get them because you need to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
And he just goes off and does it and brings all of them back. So that stood out. Probably my favorite part of the whole movie.
It's also a really good thing that they did in that movie. And I'm not very much into Marvel, the MCU, but they really did portray Captain America in a very, very similar likelihood to the comic books.
They try to make him the moral compass,
Right.
right away.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
he is.
He's lawful good.
He's the Superman. He's gonna do
Everything
the
right
good
by the
thing
book.
every time.
Yeah, even
Right.
though this movie wasn't like the first one released in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it does feel like this, like watching this movie over, it feels like this should have been the first one.
It,
Like,
Right.
does,
this
it
one,
does feel
and
like
being that
this
it's
one
first
sets up so much
chronologically.
everything.
And
else,
I don't know
too.
anything because I think the only other movie I've seen. What did I say? I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy.
and
Part of Volume 2 of Guardians of the Galaxy, and Iron Man 3. Those are the only 3 movies I believe I've seen of the MCU. That was my favorite part.
In counter of that, was there a part that you didn't like, that you thought was like dumb?
There's
or...
one thing, and I do not claim to be a filmographer or know anything about film whatsoever, but there is one part of the entire movie that I stand out that it's the part where they're in the hangar and Red Skull is taken off and he's chasing after him. He runs and he's swinging on the chain. And Tyler remembers because we watched together.
Yeah.
I pointed this. He swings on the chain
And then he's running.
it cuts and he's running.
and it
And
jumps
it's just like, that's such a awful cut. What are you doing? And I'm like,
throughout all the Marvel movies, you will find some
Just-
of those.
cuts like that.
I will say that like watching this movie, that's the first time I've noticed that.
Me too. when
that's
you pointed it out,
that's the
Whenever-
only
It's
critique
like, I
that I
wonder if that
have.
was like a Disney Plus cut that like,
Yeah.
because that's what I mean. I watched it on.
Maybe
I watched
it
on-
is. Maybe
so
it
like I
is.
wondered like maybe that was like a Disney Plus
I
cut.
don't know.
and I just didn't see
I've
it.
watched it on Disney Plus before. I've watched
I was about to
them
say,
all
well,
again.
I don't see. Is there anything that happens in there that could have caused it to get cut? Because obviously the fact of the dude falling into the propeller and being shredded, that that was still in there. That's probably like the hardest moment of that whole movie to see.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, that guy just got shredded.
Yeah.
You know what I like about that? I think that they could have done better.
Mm.
So like in the comic books, you can see Captain America throw his shield,
Right.
and it usually always comes back to him.
Right.
So you can assume in the comic books that it bounces off of something
And comes back.
But in the movie, a lot of
It
times
seems
you
like it
see
just comes
throw
back.
it and come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. it's
What I'd
almost
like to
Mjolnir.
see is like where he has like a gauntlet on the side of his arm for
Mhm.
where his like shield straps into, and it's like a magnetic lock on there.
Uh-huh.
And when he throws it, he can activate the magnet to
And
make it come back.
pulls it back.
That would have been a really cool addition.
Yeah. So that's what it's like in the comics, right? That's what causes it in the comics.
I don't know what.
In the comics,
I think he just
it just happens.
Just the forces of the universe bring it back to him.
But
Okay.
like,
he'll pinball it off of 5
this
people
man
and
then
make it
come
back.
mastered physics, and he
Uh-huh.
knows
Yeah,
exactly where to throw.
Well, that is
trigonometry
yeah.
on.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
all know
absolutely.
Steve Rogers
They should
has
have
a PhD in geometry, and he has figured this shit
Well, you know
out.
that he makes I can't remember the doctor's name that gives him the serum, but he made the statement that it makes good better. So maybe he already had a working understanding of math, and it just makes
But
it
it
better.
doesn't
I mean,
make you smarter.
does it not?
No.
it makes you,
Well,
it makes
it's
you
not-
more calculated
wait,
mind.
wait,
It
wait.
improves your mind.
He took the army entrance exam 5 times. I'm sure there was some geometry or something on there that he was studying, and he
Yeah.
knew his geometry
I don't know.
just enough.
No, I don't know.
To
Back in
whenever-
the day, they were probably just like, you hold gun, you shoot right.
How fast you run.
Good go.
Oh, also the other thing that I felt is like Hydra's salute is just like
So stupid.
one of the. It's like you see a whole. At one point, you see like a whole battalion of people. It's just like, and it's like, oh.
It's like they had
Homie, you
a,
gonna
like
throw-
a rave.
It kind of made me cringe a little bit. Like the first time, it's just like,
It's like,
is that their salute? Because I paused the movie and looked at us. Is that really their salute? And he's like, yeah. I was like,
Don't they do the
Wow.
X thing too?
no.
Or, no, that's X Force.
That's
That's X
X-Force.
Force.
Yeah.
I was like, no. They just go.
Yeah, X Force.
X-Force.
X Force. They
Very
go like that.
interesting.
X Force and Wakanda.
it's like,
Oh,
Wakanda,
yeah, Wakanda does it too. It's like, bro, you gonna throw your shoulders out?
Yeah.
doing that.
Also, it's like some of them are holding guns because at one point they're holding guns and then they just do. It's like, okay, all right. It's like they're just gonna yeet their guns.
Throw their
Oh,
guns.
also, in the first volume of Captain America, the first Avenger, the comic book, you get to see him punch Adolf Hitler in the face.
I mean, there's a nod to that in the little.
I was
I
about
mean,
to
he
say
did
that.
that over 200
Like,
times.
Yeah, he said I did it over 200 times. It's a little nod. It's a
Imagine
actor.
they in the little skit thing that they have, they casted Steve Rogers to play Captain America.
Yeah.
Imagine being the dude that they casted to play Adolf Hitler.
Oh.
During the
man.
time of
Yeah.
World War II.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine having to be that dude and know it's like, alright, you're on tour every day.
like,
You're
Mom,
gonna
I got
get
the
beat
part.
up.
Pretending to be Hitler.
I'm
You
Hitler.
have to shave your
What?
mustache
Hung
like
up.
that. I mean, because everywhere you go, you're not in costume. Imagine walking down the street and someone see your mustache.
It's like,
and be
wait a minute.
Oh my
is that,
god,
is that
that's
him?
the real one.
We got him.
It's like, what is he doing in New York?
She goes outside for a smoke break, and some dude in the alley just beats the crap out of her.
He stands up. I can do this all day.
I can do this all day. That's my life.
Also, another moment, like I said, my favorite moment is whenever the first introduction to Red Skull. He punches him, and you see just kind of the little red from
Yeah.
underneath it,
Yeah.
and then he's like, I am the greatest creation, and he just runs up and just punches the shield, and that dent that you see in
Yeah.
the shield. Oh my gosh! Just from I know nothing about film, but to me that's just like a moment of he realizes, oh crap, this isn't one I can just throw
Yeah.
around and beat up and everything.
Yeah.
And honestly, the Marvel movies don't get to the really funny, goofy part until the first Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, that's when they kind of get their humor.
There are a few little jokes
Yeah.
in the first Avenger, and whenever Bucky says, "You don't have one of those either, do you?" That's one of the best
Yeah.
jokes in that movie.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
The Thor has pretty funny moments.
Yeah, Thor's
First
funny. I like the Thor movies.
Which,
I love Thor.
and also I got to turn attention to probably one of my favorite roles in the whole movie was Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh yeah.
The second he popped up on screen, I was like, that's Tommy Lee Jones. Hang on a minute. And I'm glad that he's throughout the whole movie because I thought he was just going to be a 10-minute character, he's there for 10 minutes because Marvel didn't want to pay to have Tommy Lee Jones casted. And then he's still there throughout the whole movie. I really liked his character. He played it very good.
Another thing I like that they did in the movie was that they set up a bunch of characters
Yes.
for
Yeah.
the future advancement of
Yes.
the film.
That's
So
one thing.
Howard Stark
Is
Bucky
Tony
Barnes.
Stark's dad.
and Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier.
Peggy.
I wasn't
Don't
listening to that
tell
part.
him that.
Because I actually thought Bucky died.
Bucky Barnes is in the comic book.
Yeah, but he doesn't know. He
Well,
would.
Bucky Barnes.
Well, see, for the longest... Okay, look.
Okay,
Hang on. Back up. For the longest time, I thought that Bucky Barnes was Captain America. Legit.
Bucky Barnes is Captain America in the comic books.
Really?
Whenever
So
Cap
that's where
dies,
it comes
Bucky
from.
Barnes becomes Captain America.
Okay.
In the comics, after he becomes Winter Soldier and he gets brainwashed, then they unbrainwash him. Then Captain dies somehow.
No, I think whenever Captain America gets frozen in the ice, Bucky Barnes becomes.
So Bucky doesn't die.
I don't think he does in the comic book.
In the
I
comics,
might be
like he
wrong
does in
about
the movie.
that, but I'm pretty sure
I
he
thought he
doesn't.
still became Winter Soldier. I thought he still got captured.
He
by
does
Russia.
become Winter Soldier eventually.
Okay.
Okay.
Maybe he's.
I'm
Captain
interested for
America.
that movie. Then.
Maybe he's Captain America first, and then he gets captured.
It's one way or the other.
Yeah,
I'm really excited,
That's what
like-
I was about to say. Was there like anything you picked up in this movie
Yeah, that
you're
you
like,
think is gonna pay
that
off.
you
later.
think
Well,
will come in
obviously the
later?
Tesseract being dropped into the frigging ocean.
Yeah.
That's kind
The
of
Tesseract.
yeah.
That's
And-
going to lead into a
And
better
I kept asking, because I was asking Tyler, I was like, now, is that why Thor goes to Earth to find the Tesseract? And I was like, well, no, Thor gets banished to Earth, right? Or y'all not going to tell
I'm
me
not
that?
gonna tell
Yeah.
you.
I was about to say,
I'm not
Thor
saying-
got banished, I
I'm not
think,
saying that.
for some reason, I think. I don't know. I don't know.
Too
Yeah,
many
you
late
figured it
nights
out.
on the town.
Yeah.
I would send him to Earth.
I was about to say, or did Loki try and steal the Tesseract, and,
I mean,
he's going to stop Loki? I don't remember.
You'll
You'll
see.
see.
Yeah,
You'll
that's-
see.
It'll
it's
pay off.
building to that part.
So there's
like,
that. Obviously, all of the stuff with like all of the things that you see Howard Stark starting, like the deal of the car floating,
Exactly.
and then it goes from that to you see Iron Man's suit for the first time, and it's like, okay, yeah.
There are a lot of
Which
things
hang on a
like
minute,
that.
hang on. Is okay. I'm gonna make a guess here because like I said I don't know anything.
I'm not gonna.
Howard,
tell you if
y'all
you're right
don't
or
tell me
wrong.
anything. Y'all don't tell me anything. I just want to see Howard Stark finds the Tesseract. They recover the Tesseract.
Yes,
Right.
They show that in the movie.
Do they?
Yeah,
They do.
It's like in the last scene.
Is that what Tony? Y'all don't tell me. Is that eventually what Tony uses and harnesses to power the suit? That's what I'm guessing.
Well, pin that down as a theory. 'cause
I'm putting that. That is my theory. That is my
That's
prediction.
not a
in
theory.
2 movies,
It's
you'll
a
find
movie.
out.
Yeah, in 2 movies I'll
After we
find out.
watch
Yeah,
Captain Marvel's the next one,
and then Iron Man.
and then Iron Man.
I'll find. But that is my theory: is that he uses the power from the Tesseract to power the suit. That's my theory. I'm assuming. I'm guessing that's what my educated guess. That's all I have on that.
If this was the first one, like obviously you know that there are more than just this
Right,
one movie.
right.
But if this was the first one to release, this was the first one you were watching. This is the first Marvel movie that they released. Where would you think this goes?
Chronologically.
Or just
Or-
like, what do you think happens to like
Like rank
the
wise.
last
Where does
scene?
it go next?
Yeah, like the last scene in the movie. How do you think they build?
Yeah, what's
Okay.
your prediction for the
Like
next?
you
Now-
know they're
now we-
making a second movie.
Now
What do you think happens? in the
okay,
second
first of
movie?
all, I need some clarification.
Alrighty.
In the original post-credit scene, does it have the trailer for the Avengers movie?
Yes.
Yes.
So technically, the Avengers movie would be the second one from my mindset.
Yeah. You would know that.
Okay,
Because,
so
because of the
the only
credits
bad
scene
thing
and
is that you don't have any build up to these other characters that you see. So, okay, do I have any working knowledge of
I'm just
the
gonna
comics
say
or
like I'm
extended
just gonna
universe?
cut it. So you just from the perspective of what you think happens to Captain America,
Okay.
not like the
Well,
Avengers.
where does his story go next?
yeah.
Okay, where does
his
his story go next? I think it would just be him trying to assimilate into modern society because they sell. We wanted to ease you into it, so I think it would be him coping with the fact that he is now 70 years into the future.
Yeah.
Also, like you said, that last line that ends on I had a date. That dealing with the crushing loss if he's never going to get to see Agent Carter again, or if he does, she's ancient at this point.
Yeah.
I think she's
I was about
what?
to say.
70, I believe.
She's like
Well, see, no,
80
she-
years old.
she-
Way
Well,
older.
no. He's been asleep for 70 years.
was- yeah,
Say
and
she's
they
at
were-
least 25.
they
That
were
makes her
90.
90.
Yeah, she was 90 years
90
old.
or 100.
So
She's older.
either she's dead or way too old, and that whole deal. I feel like dealing with that, and then I don't know. Maybe there would be another deal of like he's having to deal with another army fighting them. That or another army because he's a soldier at this point. He's not really a superhero. He's just a soldier at that point.
He is very the everyman of the Avengers. It's like you
Yeah.
got this green dude that can't die.
Yeah.
This dude with a metal suit.
He's-
a spy,
he's
and
the-
then a strong man.
Okay, well, never mind. I was about to say he's kind of the Batman, but no, that's Tony. Tony
is the Batman.
Tony's the Batman.
There's
He's-
a god,
yeah.
a kind of god, a smart guy, a spy, and Steve.
Yep.
That was,
And the
that was
archer.
confusing.
And
'cause
the-
there's technically
oh, and
two
the
smart
archer.
guys.
And
My
the
boy
archer.
Steve.
My
My
boy
boy
Steve.
Steve.
I just keep on thinking of Hawkeye for
Yeah.
the show. And man's not. It's like who wasn't there? That guy.
Yeah.
Hawkeye is
You'll
one of my
figure out.
I don't know. I have no idea what they're talking
You'll
about.
figure out about that later.
Yeah.
I hate Hawkeye. I love Hawkeye. I'm waiting for us to get
Across
into the Avenger movie so I can talk about the Dark Avengers from the comics.
Yeah.
All
The
right.
ones with
The
like
Dark Avengers are
X-Men
cool.
and stuff in it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I really hope you point out the inaccuracies with it.
Oh, that's what he's.
That's
here
what
for.
he's
That's
here
what
for.
he's here
That's
for.
why I went back and looked over the
See,
Avengers.
Chase is the actually
He's
in
a
comics,
devil's advocate.
He's that guy.
He's a devil.
He's that
advocate.
guy.
I am the lore master.
Yeah.
So,
What's up next? What you got?
what's like having this been the first one that you've seen? What would be your rating on this one, like out of 10?
Cinematography. I would have to say, I'd probably give it
We're doing 1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. Yes.
10 being like,
Great.
oh my god, I've never seen a better filmed movie.
Yeah.
1 being
Yeah.
awful.
1 being awful.
Yeah.
I would have to give it an 8 on that mainly because there's the few questionable cuts that it has,
Yeah.
and I have seen some better done movies, obviously, but there's some movies that are just
Yeah,
there's not a
but
bad
I
cut.
feel like
There's not the
Still giving
cinematography
it
is
an
perfect.
8. Like, this movie came out in 2011.
Yeah, 2011.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it,
and it still
it
looks.
still
And even
looks
with
great.
even with the
a
effects,
great
like
movie.
I couldn't, there's no.
Yeah, that boy still got them cheeks. Old Cap
you don't
cheeked
see his
up.
cheeks in the first one that much, really.
I don't care. He's still all cheeked up on a Sunday.
It was Sunday when we watched it.
Yeah.
Yo.
Ooh,
Plot.
I got another idea for one.
Okay.
Let's add realism
Realism.
Yeah.
All right. Realism
compared to like actual events in history,
in history. Okay.
or just like
Do you have
automotive preferences and stuff that are happening at the time.
would writing be like
Yeah, accuracy.
accuracy
sorta.
to comics?
Yeah. Like,
Chase would have to give the rating on
did
that. 'Cause
they
I don't know.
pull? What did they pull? From
But he
the
can tell me
comics,
that.
or
He can
what-
tell me yes or no. Plot. I would say the plot was pretty good. I mean, I follow. I don't know. I really identify with Steve Rogers in that begin because like I personally like that was kind of how I don't know if you guys, I'm sure we've all of us have felt that same way, that he felt of he just wanted to do something great, but he had all these people that were always beating him down or always making him feel less than or telling him he couldn't do it. And he's really a success story of I feel like he really what
That's why we're here.
yeah.
I do feel
But
like he,
that's how I feel of I've really identified with that early character, and it shows that you can do great things. Now he had a little bit of help, but you can do
I do
great
feel
things.
like he is the most relatable.
Yes, of the
MCU heroes.
Yes. I definitely feel like I agree with that. He's the most relatable.
I mean, of course, he had a super serum, but he also tried 5
He
or
tried
6 times
to join the
just
military.
Join the military.
And I mean, just you see he's a smart guy
Yeah.
because he wouldn't have pulled the peg on the flagpole and pulled the flag or jump. I mean, I know this isn't necessarily a smart move, but I mean, move of bravery of jumping on a grenade, because that actually works. Mythbusters tested it. You can jump on a grenade and save your friends.
Yeah. It will devastate
It will
you,
decimate you. You will not
but-
survive. But he was willing to lay down his life for his friends and for his country in that sense. And he's just a very relatable person. If he is that classic, he's not a. I'm trying to remember because I watched somebody do a video. He's not a nice guy. He is a good guy. Straight up, he's not the nice guy. He is a good guy. And that's actually what
I
the
think
I
that
can't remember
is
the
what
doctor's
that
name.
doctor
He
says,
says,
so-
no matter what happens tomorrow, always be the good guy. And I feel like those are things that he hung on and that he stayed true to. So with plot, I would probably go ahead and give that a 9. So as far as accuracy, Chase, how would you say it stacks up?
Yeah, he'll have to.
I
do
mean,
that.
Because he's gonna have to give that one for me because I don't know.
in terms of overall, in my opinion, Captain America,
The first Avenger.
the first Avenger, the plots, it went on its own course.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's what they started eventually saying that they were going to do, that they just wanted to not be a comic book accurate representation.
Right.
So, the character of Cap, I would say, is pretty much spot on.
Right. His character
Like
is.
his morality and what he would, the comic book version of him would do compared to the movie version.
But like the plot wise, I don't think is exactly the same.
Okay.
That's missing out key aspects and key characters still.
Well, what?
And I think a lot of that's because they didn't know how far they were going to be able to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say as far as a number on that for accuracy to comic book truism?
I'd give it at least a 5.
A 5?
At least
All right, giving it a 5 on accuracy. Another thing that I just remembered this. Sorry, but you made the statement of what's something that you think would pay off. Definitely, I don't think Red Skull is dead. I really don't think he's dead.
I'm sure you've probably seen memes with him in it.
No, I haven't.
You haven't? Great.
Oh.
Nobody's sent him any memes.
Yeah, I was trying to say.
I'm
said
until I
Jack
see a
anything.
body, he ain't dead, y'all.
Till I check his pulse.
Till I see a body, he ain't dead. All right, so easy to follow. It's pretty straight. I mean, I give it a 7. It's pretty straightforward.
Were there any points where you were watching it and then something happened and you're like, where did this come from? Like,
yeah.
except the jump cut, obviously. That's just
other than that, no. There's really nothing that really. No, it's pretty easy to follow. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
I could see how some people would get lost, but
You sure you're not sure? You sure you're not wondering why he's fighting Nazis?
no, he's not fighting Nazis. He's fighting Hydra, man.
Same thing.
He's fighting Hydra.
I just think
No.
they're subservient
He
to the Nazis.
wants to kill Nazis.
No, he doesn't. He did not say. He
Hey,
said,
look,
"I don't want to kill
Bullets are
anybody."
bad, man.
I mean, I
That's
think
true.
Hydra started out as a subservient
They were.
They did.
section to the Nazis.
They were like the hidden.
They're like,
To me, you were asking about realism. To me, it feels like that. Like I said, this goes into conspiracy theory. So tinfoil hat time right here. Of this is like the Nazis that were digging under Antarctica looking for the underground civilization and sanctuary that was going to win them the war in World War II. Or legitimately, they were looking for Mjolnir. Legitimately, they were looking for Thor's hammer. In a sense, I don't know if that was necessarily.
The Tesseract is an artifact of Asgard, and
Yes.
they were looking for it.
Legitimately, Nazis were. So to me, I feel like Hydra was supposed to be that subsidiary of the Nazis that were doing the occult things while Hitler was concentrating on winning the war.
I mean, I can't remember when the first comic book entry for Captain America: The First Avenger was, but I'm pretty sure it was either in before World War II or after. I think it might have been 1954, but I'm not entirely sure on the
I
exact
think it
date.
was the 50s, because I think...
I was about to say, that's pretty much when all of them came out, were the 50s.
Superman came out in the 30s, right?
Superman came out a long time ago. I think it was right
In
after
the
World
20s?
War
Yeah,
I.
I think so too. Like the 20s or 30s.
That was back before
And-
DC Comic and Marvel Comics split.
That was the first.
Really? I didn't
Yeah,
know that there was a split between
they
them.
were
Yeah,
together.
they were
at
one
point.
thing.
I didn't know that.
Stan Lee
What
worked
were
for
they
DC
called?
and-
I don't
The
remember.
backstory behind it is Stan Lee was working for DC and they wouldn't let him make his own comic.
So he
And so
made
was
his
like-
own comic.
He was like, "Screw you! I'm going to make the Fantastic Four." And then Marvel was like, "Oh my god!"
Mm-hmm.
As far as a good lead-in, I think it's great. I think it's a great... I haven't seen the rest of them, so...
Does it make you excited to watch?
Oh,
those?
yeah. Like, I wasn't sure, because like I said, there's so many movies, but after watching this first one, I'm very excited to go through and see, because, like, you know, I want to know what becomes of Red Skull, what's going to happen with this Tesseract and everything.
The fact
you
that
know.
you know nothing about the other movies is exciting because you
Yeah.
have no idea.
I'm a
what's gonna
blank
happen.
slate.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a great lead-in. I would give it a 10 on that because like I said, it's their Superman. So Superman would be the first person to have. Well, I don't think he actually was the first one to have a movie, but in a sense, you would want that. Which I think the current iteration of the Justice League, I think he did get the. No, Batman got first movies. Never mind, back up.
The comics debut for Captain America was in March 1941.
1940.
Oh, wow, so
So
in the middle
during
of
World
War
War II.
He may have been propaganda.
I think it was.
I bet you he
actually. I think
was.
it
That
was.
makes sense. It really does.
I'm pretty sure he was propaganda because he was propaganda in the movie.
Yes, legitimately.
Yeah, I was about to say that was his role.
So that was a little bit of realism there.
Exactly, yeah, it
that's our
actually-
next category is realism.
What'd you say it was?
What?
What'd you say it was?
No, we're not using that joke.
We're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
But
I don't remember the joke, but I remember you making a joke about that word.
We're not
Tell
going
him
to use that
after.
word anymore.
Tell him
We're not
after.
using that word anymore because Chase is going to get somebody. Somebody's going to get got. Anyway, as far as realism is, that would definitely be that's a plus in that of legitimately he is that in the movie and everything.
he is war propaganda.
You said the word. Anyway.
I'm gonna say propaganda.
Anyway, the fact that he's propaganda, that makes sense. I don't know much about automotive at that time, but it seems accurate. It seems historically accurate. Obviously, you didn't have a floating car, but as well as at like the tech fair that they go to, where Howard Stark is literally like, in the future, we're going to have flying cars.
See, I
That's
think
called
we
Futurama.
we still don't have flying cars, but in the 50s, it was like by the year, I mean, the Jetsons came out in what, the 40s?
I think
Or the
that
50s?
I don't know, but the dad from the Jetsons was born in August of this year.
Yes, George Jetson
That
was
tells
born in
you
August of
anything.
this year.
I think that the whole flying car bit was more of a like. This is how things felt whenever
In the
those
50s,
people
yes.
were there.
Exactly.
Like if we saw a flying car now, we would feel like they felt whenever they first saw I don't know
A
the
plane,
first
maybe?
television or
yeah.
whatever was at the
Yeah.
first fair.
A microwave.
Yeah.
Actually, it might have been a microwave.
So see that's one of the things of that realism. It's like, yes, we're going to have flying cars. You know, that was a big deal in the 50s. I mean, that you look at Fallout. That's it. Does it actually take? It's supposed to be set like in a futuristic
Fallout
50s,
takes
right?
place in like an alternate, I think 50s. Yeah.
50s timeline, and you've still got people that are like, hey, you know, you see a lot of 50s things in that game.
Mhm.
So it seems very historically accurate for the time of its. Yes, it's the 40s leading into the 50s.
You also see, for the realism aspect, you see a lot of people in there that are dealing with World War II stuff.
Yes.
And you see a bunch of people that are working in factories and stuff, trying
Yes.
to produce stuff.
Yes.
Even the women it was showing,
Were
because that was a big thing, that the
But-
women would stay
Yes.
at home, and they eventually started working in factories and stuff to help produce stuff like that.
And
like munitions.
a little piece of trivia that I learned that Tyler taught me from the movie. Legitimately, after this point in history, they started giving kids at school
Yeah, that's when
more
the-
lunch or more food, or they either they started giving school lunches or they started giving more food.
It's when they
at
started.
school lunches.
It's when they started serving lunch at school.
Because they wanted kids to get more nutrition so they could grow to be bigger and stronger to be better soldiers. That was some interesting trivia that I
think
learned.
around that time is when the first food pyramid came out.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
whenever the FDA was like, all right, we need to start feeding people.
Look at here, you're learning more than just
History.
how bad I'm not good.
we need
About
to start,
how bad I'm not good, about how bad I don't know the Marvel universe.
we need to start
That's like
feeding,
a quadruple negative.
We need to start feeding people more so we can ship them off
to be better.
to be better, so
soldiers.
to be big enough to actually live and fight.
Fight in battle. So yeah,
Okay, it wasn't. The first food pyramid wasn't created then.
It wasn't okay.
No, I just looked it up. 1992 was when the first food pyramid was
a
created.
little far off, Tyler.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were like, we're gonna put some cornbread and chicken in these boys, and we're
Cornbread
gonna
and chicken.
We
buff them
took
up.
Captain Marvel. It's about me.
Now, as
Say
far
it.
as
Now
real,
they just put meth in their food and be like, that's
mean,
a real
that's
thing.
I mean, they did put cocaine in coke.
Did
at
you
one
know?
point.
Did you know that historically,
Germans-
Hitler? No,
Yeah.
Adolf Hitler
Mm-hmm.
was a well-known speed addict.
Mhm.
If you look back at him during like
Maybe that's what. You know, I always thought that it was just tampered footage of him moving real fast. Maybe that was just the speed.
in the Olympics. If you look at like footage and stuff of him from the Olympics when they had it in Germany, you can see him sitting up there
Literally
like
shaking.
twitching, like just
He's just
tweaking
being
like a
tweaked out.
crackhead.
He's just tweaked out.
They'd give.
Maybe that's where
they'd
the
give the
Nazism ideas came
meth
from.
Yeah,
to
they'd
fight
shoot 'em up with
for
meth.
days.
Yeah,
I mean, basically, that makes them have no fear. I mean, they just march straight into the mouth of battle. I
We
mean,
just send all ours to Florida.
Florida man.
I'm not going to get
We
into
fight
conspiracy.
gators
I'm
all
not
over.
going to get into the conspiracy theory that is Florida, but we can
That
we
is
can talk
Florida.
about that later.
The
I'm not going to.
mythical state of Florida.
Hey, I've been there a couple times. Didn't see any crackheads, but
Yeah,
Didn't
If
stay
you
very
look
long.
hard enough, I'm
Didn't
sure
stay
you'll
long
find
enough.
one.
But as far as realism, I'm not gonna give it. This guy got injected with super serum, so obviously it's a zero. I'm not gonna go that far. But as far as historical accuracy, I mean, you had double agents that are chomping on cyanide the second they get caught. Yeah, which I feel like that's more of akin to the Red Scare of secret
War
agents
dragons and
from
stuff.
the Cold War. I feel like that's a little bit more of that time frame. But I mean, surely there would be some
Yeah.
in from Germany. Also, something that I feel like that really is not explained is the agent that goes in and sees Steve Rogers becoming Captain America and then just steals the serum and starts shooting the place up. It's like, how did that guy get past security? This is like a
He's a spy.
how? This is a tier. Yeah, they would be screening, taking fingerprints. Y'all, there's no way that he would have gotten, even if he was a spy. Because even though it's like, I'm from the state, it's like, all right, where's your credentials?
Yeah,
right
but
now.
No,
You don't
because
know
they
how
didn't say-
far-
like, all he had to do was hear somebody else say, like, yeah, but I always bring an umbrella. and she presses the button and lets him
Yeah.
in. So like he
That-
just had to hear somebody
he just
else
had to be
say
in
it.
the shop when somebody said that.
I feel,
You could
But
Or
also,
have
you
somebody
don't
in
know
there to
how
hear it.
long that character has been undercover.
fair enough. I'll give you that, but I just I don't know. I have such a hard time. Like I have such a hard time. It's like there's no way. There's no way he's getting past that security. I could be completely wrong on that.
I'm pretty sure there's no answer to that.
There
Anything
isn't,
else?
because if he wouldn't have gotten insecurity,
There's no
there's
reason.
no movie.
Yeah.
There's no
I mean,
plot line.
They were definitely looking out
There's
for stuff
still
like that. Though.
there's still plot lines.
Also,
you remember back in World
Because
War
I mean,
II
Hydra's still.
when they had
Oh yeah, they said,
Rosenbergs, the Rosenbergs. Remember them? The people that were supposedly stealing work on the atomic bombs. They were Germans.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
remember
what
I was more.
I think that's what they show the Americans about.
I was more thinking of historically accurate. America literally had in internment. Is that how you say it? Internment camps.
Internment.
Oh my gosh, I'm stupid. They historically accurate. They did have internment.
You said it right.
Did
I
have
didn't
internment
know that.
camps for German Americans and Japanese Americans at that time.
Also,
because they were fearful of spies.
yeah, that America was horrified of spies.
Yes.
But every country was, because
Yes.
in war times, you got secrets.
Yeah.
Somebody's going
Somebody's
to
going to try to
them.
find those secrets.
It feels realistic because the
Different
fact they just put a spy in there.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel
like,
that.
you-
Yeah.
Maybe he wouldn't have got in there so easy.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's
Yeah. You only got so much time to fit that.
exactly.
That
You
plot
got to
line
take
in.
it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And they could have used some other crazy, like out of time way to move it along instead of just being like, there's a spy. He just stole the
Yeah.
serum.
Or the other thing, like the other thing I could have said that made him go after Hydra. I mean, at this point, he's already tested the weapons. It's like, okay, an entire battalion, or not battalion, but like an entire company, or not like a whole bunch, like hundreds of soldiers just got wiped off the face of the earth
Yeah.
completely. And then he's like, all right, we need to do something about this. I could see that being a reason of why they move on.
They did also give Red Skull that fake face.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So that guy could have also had a fake face, and they could have just plastered it after somebody that
Yeah.
looked like somebody from there too.
I see that.
They did have the technology
Did you
to
guys?
make him
Did you
look
guys
like he used
notice that spy kind of looked like Clark Kent, or like that when I saw him, I was like, he kind of favors Clark
to. I
Kent.
thought he looked like Tom Hardy, kind of. Like a
can see
cleaned
that,
up
too.
Tom
Yeah.
Hardy.
He's Venom.
Yeah, Venom. I feel like altogether, the first Avenger is a pretty good movie.
Oh, it was
Like,
a great
it's-
movie. My final thing on realism, I'll probably give it an 8. Like I said, I don't know about.
We're gonna take out all the
Yeah.
sci-fi mess.
Yeah, I don't know much about like
Because everybody
historically.
knows that ain't real.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
don't know like historically.
I was about to say,
well.
if we're gonna say like, if we're looking at the sci-fi stuff, it only goes downhill from
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
it's like
Captain
I give it
Marvel.
a 2. It takes
Yeah.
place.
What if Captain
On
America
Earth.
is just
Yeah.
secretly like a drug head and he's been shooting up meth to do superhuman stuff for like the past 40, 70 years?
Well, I mean that's like in the first Terminator, whenever the T-800 punches through the windshield, and Sarah Connor's at the police station, she tells them that, and they're like, he's probably just hyped up on PCP.
Yeah.
I mean, they can punch through stuff and not feel it, you know? So, yeah, I mean, theoretically, not just kidding.
The next saga's just them waking up from dreams as normal people.
It was all a dream.
Yo,
Dun, dun, dun. That would
Alright, we
immediately
need to-
make
we need to-
everybody
We need to wrap it up.
upset.
We've been going for a minute.
I agree. I think this was a good first episode. We're gonna have the categories more ironed out next time. This was kind of impromptu right here last minute. But for the final score, I've got 18, 28, 12.
It's going to be like, I got 72.
I got a 72.
I got 47,
Okay.
Out
I
of
believe.
50.
Well, you can't do that out of the scale.
When you started singing,
No, he has
Fire,
five,
I
like
immediately
five categories, and they can each be a maximum of 10, so it'd be out of 50.
But that's what I give. The final one is 47. Thank
No,
you guys
it is
for watching.
6 categories.
This we'll look at it a little bit better. But thank you guys for watching. We hope that you join us back for when we watch Captain Marvel. So we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.